Hi everybody, my name is Stefan Sanders and I'm the music director of the Spartanburg Philharmonic, and today I have the great pleasure of hosting the Together SpARTanburg video for Wednesday, April 15th. I hope you've been enjoying all of these videos that the Philharmonic, Ballet Spartanburg, and the Little Theater have been putting together. It's really the best we can do to keep the arts alive in our community, and most importantly, keep engaged with you, our fans and friends and supporters. Thank you so much for tuning in to our videos, and we promise to keep putting together great content for you to enjoy during these times of social distancing. Today's video was inspired by a little care package I received a couple of weeks ago. On our doorstep, we found this package of past programs from the Philharmonic dating back to the 70s, 80s, and 90s. And inside are some really remarkable programs with incredible guest artists and music that I'd love to share with you today. I'd also like to talk a little bit about our 2021 season programming. So today's program is all about programs. All of us at the Philharmonic are remaining hopeful that our 2021 season will begin as planned, because we have so much fantastic music that we can't wait to share with you. Our first program on the 19th of September is all about the great Ludwig van Beethoven. This year, orchestras the world over are celebrating the composer's 250th anniversary. Beethoven's Third Symphony was a dramatic shift from what people were used to at the time. At 33 years of age, Beethoven had come to terms with the fact that he was losing his hearing. In a famous letter he wrote to his family, he told of his despair and anguish that he, one of the world's greatest musicians, was going deaf. Despite this seemingly insurmountable obstacle, Beethoven decided to put everything he had into his art, vowing to write music in a completely new way. Beethoven saw himself as a sort of musical hero who admired the ideals of the French Revolution and saw Napoleon as his own personal hero. He even dedicated his Third Symphony to him. That is, until he learned of Napoleon's self-proclamation as the Emperor of the French. At once, Beethoven scratched out the name Bonaparte on the dedication page and renamed it the Eroica. From his Third Symphony on, Beethoven made the world rethink what music was about and forever enshrined himself in the pantheon of great composers, one masterpiece at a time. In December, the Philharmonic turns to yet another masterpiece, Tchaikovsky's remarkable ballet, The Nutcracker. And we are absolutely thrilled to be putting it together live with our friends at Ballet Spartanburg as they celebrate their 55th season. Ballet music before Tchaikovsky wasn't, well, all that interesting, serving more as a rhythmic and melodic background for the choreography. Tchaikovsky elevated ballet music. Just think of the incredible music from Swan Lake or Sleeping Beauty. This music was so good that audiences wanted to hear it on its own, out of the pit and in the concert hall. Premiered less than a year before his death, Tchaikovsky's Nutcracker is one of his final works, and a culmination of perhaps one of the greatest melodists that ever lived, writing one hit after another in this incredible score. The last time the Philharmonic and Ballet Spartanburg performed the Nutcracker together was 1996. We can't wait to bring it to life this year for you and your families to enjoy. On February 13th, we have the perfect Valentine's date night program for you entitled Love Note. Tchaikovsky is also on this program and his gorgeous Serenade for Strings. But also in the program is perhaps one of the most romantic pieces of music ever written, the Adagietto from Gustav Mahler's Symphony No. 5. This music was written and presented as a love note to Mahler's new bride, Alma Schindler, expressing to her the depths of his love without a single word. Mahler, typically known for his large-scale symphonies, scales everything back in this movement to just the strings and the harp, bringing us listeners up close and personal to the tenderness and heartfelt affection that Mahler felt for Alma at the beginning of their relationship. I'm very excited about our performance on the 13th of March of Gustav Holst's most popular work, The Planets. The Planets is a 7-movement orchestral suite that represents all the known planets of the solar system at the time that it was written, 1916. Each movement is inspired by that planet's astrological character. So, Mars, the bringer of war, Venus, the bringer of peace, Mercury, the winged messenger, Jupiter, the bringer of jollity, Saturn, the bringer of old age. This is my favorite movement, by the way. Uranus, the magician, or as many conductors like to simply say, movement number 6. And Neptune, the mystic. Holst's Planets is an incredible piece of music, written for a very large orchestra that even includes an offstage women's chorus at the very end of the piece, creating an otherworldly atmosphere. I absolutely love Holst's Planets, and we can't wait to perform it for you. We finish our season on May 1st with the iconic film music of John Williams. Williams is arguably the most well-known orchestral composer ever, due to the worldwide popularity of all of those incredible movies he's written music for. From Harry Potter to E.T. to Star Wars, John Williams was able to synthesize so much of what we call classical music into his own identifiable style. Moviegoers and music lovers have enjoyed his music for many decades, giving his music a multi-generational audience, and our performance on May 1st will be one for the entire family. We can't wait to get back on stage next season and share all of these incredible programs with you. And now I'd like to talk about some of these old programs that I recently received. As many of you know, Spartanburg is one of the cultural hubs of the South Atlantic, and for many, many years, some of the greatest orchestras, conductors, guest artists have been right here in our community performing on Twitchell stage. Some really great stuff. So we have everything from the actual programs to just the ticket envelope that people receive their subscriptions in, and on them it lists all of the events. So I just want to share this with you because it's really inspiring for me, all of this incredible music and these great artists that we are a part of this same legacy together, the Philharmonic. So here we go. This first one is the ticket envelope for the 1985-1986 Music Foundation Concert Series. And as you can see, there's some really great stuff. The first program was Itzhak Perlman, one of the greatest violinists of all time, still performing to this day. Also, the Vienna Choir Boys were here in 1986. That's interesting because they were just here this past November. I was at that performance at Daniel Recital Hall, a part of the Carlos Mosley series, and they sounded absolutely incredible. And they just never age, those choir boys. But the concert that has the most significance for me is the next one, the Gewandhaus Orchestra of Leipzig with Kurt Masur. The Gewandhaus Orchestra was the orchestra that Felix Mendelssohn was the music director of for 12 years, beginning in 1835. Some other renowned conductors were associated with that orchestra, Arthur Nikisch and also the great Wilhelm Furtwängler. But Kurt Masur, interestingly, played a crucial peacemaking role in the weeks before the collapse of communism and the fall of the Berlin Wall in 1989. As pro-democracy movements gathered strength in 1989, Leipzig became the center of resistance. And after witnessing some violent arrests and demonstrations, Kurt Masur went on West German television and declared his sorrow and shame for what he saw happening in the East. He was seen as this calming force at a very crucial moment in German history. And 1 month later, the Berlin Wall came down. This next program is of the Philharmonic Orchestra of Monte Carlo, with the Italian-American violinist Nadia Salerno-Sonnenberg as soloist and American conductor James DePriest. Now, James DePriest was one of the first African-American conductors on the world stage. Having been an assistant conductor of the New York Philharmonic under Leonard Bernstein in the 60s, DePriest went on to a fabulous career, having been music director of the Oregon Symphony for 23 years, where he took that orchestra from a small part-time orchestra to a full-time, nationally recognized one, having made several wonderful recordings with them. Before his death in 2013, James DePriest was the professor of conducting at the Juilliard School in New York City. And here's the ticket envelope from the 1988-1989 Music Foundation Concert Series. In December of that season, the great American violinist Joshua Bell and French pianist Jean-Yves Thibaudet played a recital at First Presbyterian Church. In February of that season, the Preservation Hall Jazz Band from New Orleans played at the Spartanburg Memorial Auditorium. This is one of the oldest jazz bands in the country, and they are absolutely fantastic, still performing to this day. And in March of that season, one of my very favorite American orchestras, the Pittsburgh Symphony Orchestra, came and played at Memorial Auditorium. When the Pittsburgh Symphony came to Spartanburg in 1989, the American conductor Loren Mazel was their music director. Loren Mazel began his conducting career at the age of 8 and had this incredible photographic memory, seemingly being able to recall pretty much every piece in the repertoire without needing any music. Lauren Mizell was not only the music director of the Pittsburgh Symphony, but also the Cleveland Orchestra, the National Orchestra of France, the Bavarian Radio Orchestra, and his last position was music director of the New York Philharmonic. I had the good fortune to see his final performance as music director of the New York Philharmonic, where they performed the huge Gustav Mahler Symphony No. 8, Symphony of 1000, and it's something I will never forget. Another unforgettable musical experience for me was seeing Andre Watts perform on Live from Lincoln Center on PBS. This was the moment that I knew I wanted to be a musician. I was about 10 years old. And here he is on the Music Foundation's 1980-81 concert series, performing with the Charlotte Symphony. Also featured on that season was the great French trumpeter Maurice André. I grew up listening to Maurice André with my father, who loved Baroque music, and every time I see his name or hear his playing, I always think of my dad, who loved music and is one of the reasons why I am a musician today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, getting to know what we have in store for you next season, as well as taking a trip down memory lane with all of these incredible past programs. They're so inspiring to me, knowing that we are so closely linked to such great musicians from our past. We have such a rich cultural legacy to celebrate here in Spartanburg, and we can't wait to keep doing that as soon as possible. Until then, please stay safe, stay healthy, let's all follow the rules, and we hope to see you very soon.